Now, these two have been facing off every now and then in the online weekly tournaments like KSL, like ESL Open Cup Asia. We've casted them whenever we can. And there's a lot to get into when it comes to this series, when it comes to this matchup. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, going for a 15 hatch, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming. It is RagnaroK. So, this is something that RagnaroK has been doing a lot against ByuN. There's a lot that comes into this. So, ByuN is going for his ByuN opener. He's going for a 2 racks here on the low ground. He's been doing this for the past, what, 4 months? 5 months? Every single TvZ, ByuN goes for his 2 racks here on the low ground. And yeah, he is setting his second SCV down here to throw down that next racks. And players like Solar, Dark, and RagnaroK, they've all had a lot of practice against this, and they've all been going for different responses and different reactions. Specifically, there's a consensus here against this 2 racks to go for a later third base and to stay on 2 bases a little bit longer, just because a big reason for this is because ByuN, he has so many different follow-ups to this. It could be a 3 racks, it could be a 4 racks, it could be a 3cc 2-1-1. There's a lot that it could be, and specifically if it's a 3 racks Mass Reaper, you don't want to be caught out with an exposed third base. Like, you'll be losing too much, you'll be spread thin. It's resources that you need for queens instead. Likewise, RagnaroK has been going for this 15-15 opener against the 2 racks, just because it gets you a faster spawning pool, it gets you a bit of a faster hatchery here for faster queens specifically, and queens are so important here in the defense, especially if it's a 3 racks. We can see that it isn't. We can see it's just a 2 racks opener. But this does kind of, in a way, almost hard counter a 3 racks, just because of how fast your queens come out, how many lings you have, and of course your ling speed. So this is a very safe opener from RagnaroK. And the first Reapers are coming out across the map. Now, because it's only 2 racks, we should only make 3 Reapers. We've got 1, and then we should be having a second and a third Reaper, and then we transition out of this. That transition, though, there's a lot that ByuN can go into. There we go, we have the second and third Reaper moving out, joining up with the first. ByuN is going to be dancing between the bases, looking for a queen if possible, or just lings, any kind of value he can get. Oh, lings were in position. Good target firing here from RagnaroK, does force ByuN back. And we can see ByuN is working on his tech lab, on his reactor. Interesting. ByuN, I'm a little bit surprised. He canceled his third Reaper. He canceled his third Reaper for a faster factory instead. Okay. Interesting. I haven't seen this before. So I'm talking about ByuN, he just has so many different variations of his 2 racks opener. So we have a much faster factory because of that, because of the non-existent third Reaper. Is going into a faster starport as well. Meanwhile, RagnaroK is on 2 bases. He has a faster third and fourth queen. And he's intentionally staying on 2 bases, not going for a third, and he's going for a very fast lair. Okay. There's a lot happening on both sides. There's a lot going on. So ByuN is getting into a faster 2-on-1. He's going to be going for Banshees, it looks like. So he's going to be rushing into Banshee production. With this fast lair from RagnaroK, he can go into 2-base Nidus. Because he has a Roach Warren, this is looking like a fast Roach push for Roach speed. So far, ByuN doesn't see this. So far, he's being zoned away. He knows that the third base has been delayed, but again, it's normal for the third base to be delayed against ByuN specifically. So again, it's still really difficult for him to get a read on what's going on. Ooh, as the first tumor does get sniped. Roaches are on the way. Lair is done. There it is. Roach speed is now on the way for RagnaroK. He's going to be amassing roaches here in his bases, and ByuN has no idea. ByuN has no idea what's going on. But because of the fast Banshee, this is ideal. Banshees are just beautiful against roach pushes because, one, roaches don't push up, of course. Sorry, they don't attack up. But Banshees, like, if they're out on the map, if they catch the roaches as they move out, they can pick away at the Ravagers, they can focus down the roaches before the attack even starts. So by happen chance, like, this opener from ByuN is ideal against the opener of RagnaroK. Here we go, Banshee is moving out. RagnaroK, he cut workers at 41. He's been staying at 41 drones on 3 gas saturation and making nothing but roaches, getting ready, waiting for roach speed to finish. Banshee is about to reveal itself. No spores. No cloak, to be fair. There is no cloak here for ByuN. He's working towards his medevac drop. Banshee arrives. We have an overseer on the way. Roaches are pushing out. The jig is up. ByuN now knows what's going on. He has a tank on the way. That tank is going to be so important here in the defense, and it's going to finish up in a couple of seconds. Banshee being dealt with by the queens. Wasn't able to deal with these roaches. The Marines, though, there are so many of them. They stim on forward. They can focus down the roaches. They buy enough time for the tank to come out. This roach push here from RagnaroK just didn't really work out at all. It did just fall on its face. Now he has to drone, saturate his third, and ByuN is in a really good position. He's working on his third base. He can go for drop play now that the medevacs are out. And you sure RagnaroK, he has a lair and he has roach speed, but doesn't have much else. There we go, the drop has arrived. These roaches should keep RagnaroK alive. He shouldn't lose too much. ByuN his force back. RagnaroK, he's going to be working on a 1-1 timing. And now he can try to hit a strong timing with his roaches with 1-1, or he can go for 2-2 instead. There we go. We're good. So RagnaroK, he has potential here. He can still go for like these follow-up like strong pushes here with his roaches, but for the most part, until then, he's stuck at home. He's stuck at home, stuck dealing with these drops. Catches a couple of Marines. Upon seeing all these roaches, ByuN should be taking a defensive position on 3 bases. Like, he shouldn't be pushing out with his tank army. I feel like that's kind of what RagnaroK would want. ByuN just going to be active with his drops. Catching overlords wherever he can. Maybe a couple of drones here or there. Just maintaining map control while he sets up for that third base. Likewise, RagnaroK, he's droning, saturating his third, getting his fourth up and running. Interesting. So I assumed that RagnaroK would go for an infestation pit, but no, he's investing into Ling speed and he's going for a Baneling nest. So this looks like Ling Bane Roach Ravager as opposed to Infestor Roach Ravager. Which does tell us that RagnaroK may not be looking to hit a 2-2 timing. Oh, as the Banshee is going to get shut down, not before killing 2 drones. Not too bad. The station pit is on the way. So because of the Baneling nest, I'm curious if we get Baneling speed here. RagnaroK, he's got options. He can try and go... yeah, there we go. Melee's on the way. So he's going to go for Baneling speed. He's going to go Ling Bane Roach Ravager. The other option that he had, if he skipped the Baneling nest, is to go for an Infestation Pit, go for a faster Hive, and go into Lurkers. It would have been Roach Ravager into Hydra Lurker Viper. But as we can see, he's not investing in the range upgrade, so not really headed in that direction. ByuN is just being a little bit active here with his drops. Again, he's just securing his 3 bases. Being a little bit more defensive instead. It's always really scary being active against Mass Roach or Roach Ravager. You don't want to be caught with your tanks on siege, so ByuN, again, just focusing on fortifying himself. Hoping that RagnaroK pushes into him. And RagnaroK shouldn't. He shouldn't try to break the third. He's just vying for map control, pushing back the army, and that's all he's going for while he techs up into Hive, into his melee upgrades, into everything else. He didn't start Baneling speed, which is interesting to me. I'm really confused. I'm really confused as to why we don't have Baneling speed. I'm worried now because we do have ByuN starting to push out across the map. RagnaroK is maxed. He forgot. No, he forgot Bailing speed. No, we have Bailings on the way, but there's no speed. Ay. Speaking of, these Bailings will not finish morphing, and ByuN is getting on top of them. RagnaroK, he is in a lot of trouble. Tanks are getting sieged. Vipers are on the way. Bailings, they're waddling on in. They're not going to find any connection, Sparky. Oh, no. He noticed. Bailing speed now starts up, but it's too late. ByuN, he's already in his face. He's already here. ByuN has already arrived. Fifth base is going to go down. RagnaroK, he's trying to engage. But alas, the tank positioning is just too good. RagnaroK trying to come from behind. He's going to get maybe he gets one tank. But ByuN isn't done. He takes down the fifth. Now he's working towards the triangular third as well. There's no creep here to work with. It's going to be so difficult to surround this army. As RagnaroK is being pushed further and further back. And by the time Bailing speed finishes, I mean, RagnaroK is down to 3 bases. Like, the damage has already been done. If ByuN really wanted to, he could just go back home. There we go. He's unsieging. He's backing off. I think this is a wise choice. As we go for the triple drop into the main base. ByuN rotating around, looking for another angle of attack. The drop here is distracting the main army of RagnaroK. And ByuN is able to find a better position. Good blinding clouds. But it's not going to be enough. The Bailings, they're not finding the connections they need. Some decent connections towards the end, to be fair. He gets on top of the tanks. RagnaroK does clean up the army. Those Vipers, they did a lot of heavy lifting, I'll be honest. Oh, there's almost nothing left. Go, RagnaroK, go. Oh, he doesn't quite commit. He is forced back. The triple drop distracting him. ByuN only has 1 tank here back at home. He's honestly very vulnerable. If it wasn't for this triple drop keeping RagnaroK busy, I do think he would probably attack and he would find a lot of damage. Alas, he is being kept back at home. He's getting his 4th base up and running, working on his triangular third once again. RagnaroK is still in this. He survived. Did survive. Did preserve the majority of his drones as well. Didn't lose too many workers. And the Vipers, they came in clutch and regathering that energy. Now, the downside of RagnaroK is that there's still no creep here in the center or the right-hand side of the map. Like, because of how assertive ByuN was, it's going to take a while here for RagnaroK to kind of reassert himself here. Does he have any active queens? He does not. He has 1 queen for each base. He only has them to inject. So we have very few active tumors out on the map. Yeah, now rotating towards the south. Double drop into the main. You see RagnaroK, he's taking to a hydrogen. Looks like he's working towards lurkers. Vipers are arriving. They're looking a little bit exposed. 2 of them going to be going down. But the blinding clouds are good enough. ByuN, he gets caught on creep. RagnaroK catches. He resets the tank count once again. And he's going to keep on pushing. We do have 2 tanks in the back line, so RagnaroK overextending a little bit. Will lose all of his banelings. At the same time, the drop comes back into the main. The Hive getting very low. The Hive is low because of the Vipers, not because of the drops, but he could try to snipe this. Could try and snipe that base. As we see RagnaroK going for a massive counterattack. ByuN, it's his turn to be out of position. The natural is going to be broken. Lings, they dive on in. ByuN racing back home. He's going to force back the main army. Lings and Roaches, they're busting into the natural. It looks like ByuN should be able to clean this up at the same time. The Hive went down. The drop did snipe the Hive. No more Vipers. How many Vipers do we have? Oh, we have 2 Vipers left. Hive is going to have to be rebuilt if we want to make any more. 2 Vipers should be good enough, as long as they don't get sniped. ByuN cleans up the run by pushing back out across the map. Doesn't have a lot to support his tanks. He's got a decent tank count, but we are lacking a little bit in the Marines and the Marauders. He does have to be careful. Job coming back into the natural. Sniping more workers, dealing with more of these queens. Again, very little creep spread down here. Snipes are connecting with those Ravagers. Ghosts are going down. Okay, 2 of them do survive. See ByuN pushing forward. Where are the Vipers, by the way? They're coming in from behind. They get some good blinding clouds off, but is there enough on the ground to really deal with these tanks? RagnaroK barely getting on top of them. Oh god. RagnaroK, he doesn't really have too much of a standing army. ByuN is snowballing out of control. Again, despite the blinding clouds, it just wasn't enough on the ground. RagnaroK, he's running out of steam. GG gets called, and ByuN takes game number 1 after a wild back and forth. GG. GG. After a crazy opener as well. It all started with RagnaroK rushing into that lair, rushing into that roach push. Likewise, ByuN transitioning very quickly into 2-1-1 or into his factory, into his starport. GG. GG, well played. ByuN does take the first game. But that was pretty close. That was pretty close. There were a couple of moments there where RagnaroK had momentum. There were moments where maybe RagnaroK could have kept pushing as well, just to break that 3rd base. Ooh. That was back and forth. Was back and forth. And that's what I expect to see. That's what I expect to see out of these 2. What I expect to see out of ByuN and RagnaroK. Ooh. As we are getting into game number 2. Shout out to Wormshake in the chat. Hello. Welcome. Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Bianjoa. Oh, let's go. Imagine how that game would have gone if RagnaroK didn't forget bathing speed. That was another big moment of the game. Aye. As we're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming. It is RagnaroK. Here we go. Once again, ByuN going for his 2-racks opener, as to be expected. Ooh, RagnaroK going for gas first. Okay, we have a very aggressive opener out of RagnaroK. He's going for a gas into a spawning pool, into a delayed hatchery. Now, something that we have seen from RagnaroK is that we have seen him hard counter ByuN's 4-racks. This was maybe a month ago. RagnaroK, he 2-0'd ByuN in KSL. I want to say it was KSL. When ByuN tried to go for a 4-racks, and RagnaroK was able to not just defend with his queens and lings, but go into a very powerful Bane bust after that. And with all this gas being mined, we don't just have fast ling speed, we can go into a faster Baneling nest as well. So RagnaroK can be very aggressive with this. Outside of this, he could try to go for roaches. I'm not too fond of roach pushes against ByuN. They don't seem to work too often. Dark learned that the hard way. But we'll see. We shall see. As there it is, ling speed is on the way. We are not pulling out of gas, so this should lead into a Baneling nest as well. Meanwhile, the Overlord does scout the opening across the map, does confirm that ByuN is going for a 2-racks. And ooh, oh my god, ByuN! Being a little bit greedy here. Okay, so a lot's happening. RagnaroK, he doesn't go for a Baneling nest. He goes for a Roach Warren instead, so he's going to be going for a big all-in with roaches and lings. Meanwhile, ByuN, last game, if you remember, he only made 2 Reapers and he transitioned very quickly. Likewise, only making 2 Reapers again. Now, ByuN, he does see that the hatchery's late. He is now aware that the hatchery is delayed. He's throwing down a 3rd Rax behind this. He's already working on his add-ons. His add-ons, of course, being very exposed. And RagnaroK, he's just waiting for the Roach Horn to finish before just massing roaches. ByuN doesn't have the full picture. He knows how late the hatchery is, so he knows it was a pull first, but he doesn't know if there's a baleen nest or a Roach Horn behind this. He does not know. Not yet. Meanwhile, roaches are on the way, lings as well, and they are about to reveal themselves. At least the lings will. Back at home, ByuN is working on a bunker. Working on a bunker on the low ground. He's aware that the wall is going to be broken. Vanilla Marines, with no stim, no marauders either. Again, usually if ByuN, if he scouts and if he recognizes that he's being all in with roaches, he would make marauders, but there's no marauder production. Only Marines. Bunker is now done. A stim is exposed and it will not finish. It should not finish. RagnaroK is droning behind this. There we go. Stim is going to be denied. Production is going to be compromised as well. There we go. We do have Marauders now in production. So it looks like ByuN shouldn't die here, especially because RagnaroK is droning. But he's going to be losing a lot of his production. Raxes are on fire. ByuN throwing down 2 more bunkers as well. Oh, he loses his Rax. Again, ByuN, because he didn't have too many Reapers, he doesn't know how committed RagnaroK is. He doesn't know that RagnaroK is droning. As it looks like ByuN is going to be able to chase down one of those Ravagers. And he's down to only 2 Raxes. Like, he barely has any production. He doesn't have any kind of upgrade to work with. He can't push out across the map. RagnaroK, he is so free to drone. He's free to do whatever he wants. He's going for a baleen nest. A bit of an early baleen nest, to be honest. ByuN, he's going to try and transition. He goes for a 3rd CC. This will help make up for his worker deficit. Or his kind of hindered economy. Going for a 3rd Rax. Going for a 4th Rax. This is going to be a very delayed 4-Rax here from ByuN, but I guess it's just to be cost efficient with what resources he has. He has very limited gas to work with, so working towards like medevacs and tanks and a factory, it's not really possible. Yeah, RagnaroK, he's just free to drone up, saturate his 3rd. He's working on his upgrades, should be working on his lair. There we go, lair's on the way. Hopefully this time he doesn't forget Baling Speed. Fingers crossed. And yeah, RagnaroK, he's even working on these rocks just to make sure he has the most amount of freedom and breathing room here on his side of the map. Doing everything correct here to just get further and further ahead. Now, ByuN is going to have a moment with Stim. This is the power of the 4-Rax. Typically, a bio army doesn't move out until medevacs, right? Until the factory is done, until the starport is done, until we have medevacs. But this 4-Rax does allow you to have an abundance of Marines and Marauders, and now you have Stim, and yeah, ByuN is going to be moving out. Now, he has to be very careful with this. Typically, he's going to have 1, maybe 2 Stims available. He doesn't have medevacs to really sustain his army, so when he pushes out, he has to be very careful with how he uses his Stim if he moves out. Starport is on the way. It looks like he's going to be staying at home instead. But RagnaroK, he is just even more free to do what he wants. Baling Speed, now on the way. Thankfully not forgotten. Let's go. Is on the way. Creep is being spread to the halfway mark. Yeah, it looks like, especially because if he did move out, this is a very late move out. ByuN is respecting the army that RagnaroK would have, and he doesn't want to throw anything away, so ByuN is just stuck at home, focusing on securing his 3 bases, and he's only going to move out once he does have those medevacs. There we go. With the add-on swap, medevacs are now on the way. Go for a scan. Do get eyes on the banelings. Go. Medevacs in production. And to be fair, RagnaroK, he doesn't have too much anti-air. He doesn't have a Hydrogen. He doesn't have a Spire. So drop play can bring ByuN back into this. Maybe. But RagnaroK, he has such a large army, he shouldn't have too much of a hard time like keeping up with drop play. He has overlords all over the place as well. He has creep. He has map vision. He should be able to react. And now that bathing speed kicks in, it looks like RagnaroK wants to be the aggressor. Has to be careful. Does run into the army. ByuN working on his 4th base. Yeah, just being very defensive here. Even now that he has medevacs, he's not going for any drop play. Not yet. He's still just hyper focused on just turtling up instead. Widowmine production is commencing. Good positioning on the Raxes as well, and the CC, like ByuN just trying to provide himself as much SimCity as he can use. Getting run by doesn't get in. And RagnaroK should be taking up. This infestation bit is late, I would say. It's a bit of a later infestation bit. It looks like RagnaroK really did intend to make something happen with this army, but he just couldn't really break through. Like, the defensive position of ByuN was just a little bit too good, so RagnaroK is just now transitioning, working towards his hive. And the game is settling down. Now the question is going to be, the goal here for ByuN is to establish a 4th. Can he get a 4th base up and running? It's going to be difficult. As soon as he tries to, RagnaroK should rotate around, and his goal should be to deny the 4th base for as long as he can. ByuN keeping up in the army supply. So many Marines. 4th is being taken. Let's see RagnaroK rotating over towards the right-hand side. As ByuN takes his 4th, he should push out just to try to like divert attention from the 4th base. Here we go, RagnaroK. He's getting ready to push in. Hive on the way. 2-2. We're a couple of seconds away from +2, so want to make sure we don't hit an anti-timing. See RagnaroK, he wants to try to come in from multiple angles, and here we go, he's going for it. The banelings are rolling on in, the mine shot's not quite going off yet. Good baneling connections. And there may just be too much Ling Bane. Do have a lot of Marines coming in, but the 4th is denied. That is all that RagnaroK wanted. Not just that, to be fair, but we had some very juicy connections on those Marines. The Widowmine shots weren't really what ByuN was looking for. We didn't really have a good connection there. And RagnaroK, he can back off, remax, rebuild, and do that again. ByuN doesn't make a planetary. Oh my god, he's crazy. He's being so greedy, and to be fair, he needs to be greedy, but orders are being called out. Ling Bane is rolling on in. As RagnaroK distracts the main army, the banelings roll in on the left-hand side. They get into the mineral line, the 6 SCVs go down. ByuN is going for a counterattack. RagnaroK does have to be careful. As he gets ready for his defense, we do have a Ling run by. Oh, a lot of SCVs are going down. And ByuN is committed. He is committed. He really doesn't have too much of an economy behind this. He is all in with this push. But RagnaroK, he comes in from behind. He gets us around. The banelings once again find some decent connections. A good amount of Marines are left over. But here come the reinforcements. RagnaroK. He swallows up the army. He denies any kind of mining at the 4th base. And that was it. That was the push for ByuN. He's got half the worker counts. He's, again, barely mining from his 4th. RagnaroK working on 3-3 behind this, catching up in the upgrades. I don't know if ByuN can ever push out as hard as he just did this game. Like, it's gonna take him so long to rebuild. So he's gonna be rotating over towards the left-hand side. RagnaroK, he's even got the gold base at this point. Not too many banelings are available, so ByuN is gonna be gaining some ground here. We don't really have too many banelings at all, but there we go. They are morphing in. RagnaroK going to be able to clean this up once again. Good splits against the mines. Only 1 mine is left behind this. GG gets called. And ByuN, sorry, and RagnaroK will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. Taking down ByuN. GG. Oh. Again, it was a really powerful start from RagnaroK, and ByuN was playing from behind almost the entire game. Like, even though he did, like, you could see that the army supplies were similar. They were similar, yes, for that big push on the right hand side, but ByuN was super maxed, which means that he had a very low worker count and a very high army count. Like, he was pretty all in with that push, and after that push was cleaned up, like, that was all that really ByuN had to offer in that game. That was all he had left. GG. GG, well played. We have an ace match. We have an ace match. We have a game 3. Let's go. And we are getting ready to dive into our next game. Into game number 3. This is where it all ends. The winner moves on to the winner's match. The loser moves down to the elimination match where Hero is waiting, and I don't think anyone wants to face off against Hero. It's such a weird situation, right? Nightmare is waiting for the winner, Hero waiting for the loser. And here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressvan, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team Mystery Gaming. It is RagnaroK. Tying up the series 1-1 in that last game, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gressvan, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Going for the ByuN opener, going for his 2 racks once again. Now, to be fair, this is what I love about GSL. Like, here in GSL, like, our players, they're clearly coming in prepared. We saw that a lot in the previous PvP. Like, preparation really came into play in that series. And I want to say the same about ByuN here. Oh my god. As RagnaroK is going for a pool first opener. But the reason why I say that for ByuN is that every game so far, he's been going for a 2 racks, but he has been going for variations that we haven't seen before. And I should put emphasis on that because we cast ByuN a lot. We cast ByuN a lot on this channel. Like, we cast him like 3-4 times a week in ZVTs. Like, we cast him all the time against like Dark and RagnaroK and Solar and Lambo and who have you in all these online tournaments. But not a single time this series has he gone for three Reapers, for example. Like, he keeps transitioning very quickly. He keeps going for the 2 racks. And because he delays, or because he only makes 2 Reapers instead of 3, he's been going for like faster transitions into factories or faster 3rd and 4th raxes. Like, yeah, it's been really cool to see him really bring something almost new to the table. I say almost, like, kind of new to the table. Like, the foundation is still what we expect from ByuN, but like some of the detailing is very different. And it looks like it may be happening. Okay, I was gonna say it may be happening again, but this time we do have our 3 Reapers on the way for ByuN. We'll see if this time he cancels again or if he commits. Meanwhile, RagnaroK with that pool first opener, he does have a faster queen. He has faster lings. It was a pool hatch gas opener from RagnaroK. Lings, they do bypass the initial Reaper, and they're going to try and chip away at this. It happened again! This is what I'm talking about. Once again, ByuN, he cancelled the third Reaper. He only made 2. And I love that it's a cancel as well. So, because the Overlord Scout sees the initial 2 Raxes, RagnaroK, he sees that the Raxes are researching, sorry, that they're building units. So, he assumes that it's going to be 3, but yeah, ByuN, he cancels the third one, transitions into his add-ons faster as a result. Sorry, I say add-ons. He makes his factory faster as a result. Much faster factory here for ByuN. Meanwhile, back at home, RagnaroK, ooh, going for a fast Evo chamber. Very interesting. I imagine this is going to be for fast +1 melee. It would be interesting. I do know that Miyamika, and I want to say I think maybe RagnaroK has done this before, where he goes for fast +1 carapace to hit a fast +2 carapace timing. And there it is, yeah. +1 carapace. We have seen him do this before. For those wondering, carapace is like the most important upgrade here in this matchup, just because it applies to every single attack. And as you can imagine, Marines have a very high attack rate, so it reduces the damage of Marines by so much. Likewise, +2, very important upgrade here for RagnaroK, for Lingbane. Because of that, this is ideal against 2-on-1 openers, or 4 Raxes, or 3 Raxes. And we can see it is going to be a 2-on-1, but ByuN is going for a faster Banshee. He's going to be delaying medevac production instead. So ByuN loves to do this. He did this in Game 1, if you remember. Was it Game 1? He did it on Babylon earlier today. Yeah, Game 1. But he did this on Babylon. Because of this, RagnaroK may be unprepared. It is very unusual to go for a Banshee first if you're going for a 2-on-1. The reason for that is because you're delaying your medevacs. You're delaying your push in favor of a Banshee. Your Banshee is revealed. Overlord goes down. Immediately, spores are being thrown down. So, unfortunately, ByuN had to show his hand earlier. But at the same time, there's no cloak. There's no cloak with this Banshee. So, yeah, really, he's just forcing a reaction, forcing spores to be made, and hopefully getting some drone kills. Meanwhile, now we have the add-on top, and now we have the medevacs on the way. Meanwhile, RagnaroK back at home, about to finish up +1 carapace, working on his lair. Once that's done, he can get into really fast +2. Oh no, go straight for +1 melee. There we go. Going for fast 1-1 upgrades. Meanwhile, ByuN pushing through the center of the map. You could say that, is this a little bit too soon? Well, the medevacs are on the way. Medevacs are boosting across the map to meet up with this push, so this push is going to hit a little bit faster because ByuN leaves without his medevacs. So RagnaroK is getting ready here for the push. Drone up to 47 on 3 bases. He has +1 carapace. He should be fine. This push shouldn't really do much damage at all. Get some tumors. Can he get a queen? Oh. Yeah, RagnaroK has more than enough to defend. At the same time, Banshee is going for a backstab, getting a couple of drones. Baneling speed is on the way. RagnaroK has a late 4th. Instead of the 4th, he's actually making more Lings and more Banelings. It looks like he wants to go for a massive counterattack. We're still waiting for that 4th hatchery. RagnaroK, he wants to try to dive on this army, try to catch ByuN not looking. Oh, the rocks are knocked down. ByuN is able to slip away. Oof. Does take some Banelings to the face, though. He's going to be losing a good chunk of his Marines. But that could have been worse. Again, if the rocks weren't knocked down in time, then ByuN, he didn't have enough medevacs to save everything, so he would have lost a lot more there, or would have traded a lot more inefficiently. So clutch moves out of ByuN. As he's working on his second wave, the tanks have arrived. 4th base now on the way for RagnaroK. Not a lot of creep here. RagnaroK, he doesn't want to get caught too much off creep, but there we go. Bathing speed does finish. No, the Bailings! Oh, good target firing out of ByuN. The Bailings, they don't connect with a single Marine. Very efficient trade out of ByuN, but he did lose his tanks. So both players are hurting. ByuN going for a double drop into the main. Back at home, he's getting ready for his third. He's setting up his third. Additional Raxes are thrown down. And, oh, RagnaroK wasn't quite ready for this. The Evo Chamber is going to fall. Thankfully, he does finish up 1-1. But +2 is going to be delayed. Uh-oh. Can he get the smoke pool? Jeez. As RagnaroK doesn't have a second Evo Chamber. Oh, this is pretty huge. As Bailings are rolling on in, but good splits here from ByuN. Forcing these Bailings to trade off of creep. Tank is going to be saved. RagnaroK going for a massive counterattack. But again, the whole point of this opener here from RagnaroK was to get really fast upgrades. But now +2 is heavily delayed. ByuN does threaten another drop into the main. Back at home, his tanks do keep his third safe. RagnaroK working on a Hydroden, throwing down a second Evo Chamber. Try to catch up. RagnaroK, he doesn't have an amazing drone count. After deflecting that push, I would have assumed that he would have droned up a little bit harder. But he's going to be cutting workers here at 3 base saturation. At 46 workers. Oh, RagnaroK just a heavily supply block there. That's why he couldn't make any more drones. There we go, 10 drones in production. That supply block may hurt him. ByuN is pushing out. RagnaroK does have eyes on this. But he has to leave army back at home just because of that drop. Creep is being cleaned up. ByuN just setting up for his push. Not overextending. Taking this slow and steady. Positioning his tanks very well. At the same time, we have the drop into the main. RagnaroK was ready for it. And ideally, RagnaroK, he wants to come at this position from 2 angles. The drop is actually headed towards the natural. RagnaroK, I don't know if he quite saw that. Yeah, there we go. He is now responding with his army. Drop coming in, but RagnaroK does keep up. At the same time, it looks like we had a Bailey run by, but no, it doesn't make its way in. And I do think RagnaroK has more than enough to clean this up, but again, he has to make sure he doesn't come in from one angle, otherwise those tank shots are going to get so much value. And RagnaroK is going to collapse on this position, is going to clean everything up. Good tank shots once again on the Bailings. Ay, ay, ay. Jesus, how many Bailings just... almost every single Bailing was targeted down by those tanks. Not the most efficient trade from RagnaroK, and he doesn't have the best economy to support this either. And here comes the next wave. You can see ByuN pushing ahead in the army supply. Just trading a little bit too well. Denying mining here at the center base. Double drop still alive, still active, still a thorn in RagnaroK's side. And this position can be so difficult to deal with. Once again, RagnaroK, he needs to come in from multiple angles. He's trying to. Center base goes down. RagnaroK actually going for a counterattack instead. Oh, the drop finally gets cleaned up. But not before killing 9 drones. Run-by does get pushed away. And RagnaroK is being starved out. He's down to 4 bases. Hatchery's going to go down as well. RagnaroK not in position. looks like RagnaroK can dive on top of one of those tanks. No, he doesn't go for it. Lings are getting shaved off, and ByuN is he's snowballing out of control. RagnaroK desperately trying to get a 4th base up and running. He's down on bases, down in the economy as a result. And yeah, ByuN can just take this slow and steady. RagnaroK gonna try and dive in, but yeah, it feels like RagnaroK, he's just being zoned away from his own 4th base, and fighting off of creep here is gonna be so difficult. Hatchery does finish. ByuN getting his own 4th base up and running. Oh, we do have a bathing run by, which could get some damage done. ByuN, is he paying attention? It looks like SCVs will go down. Good connections from RagnaroK. At the same time, he's going to try and collapse on this army as well. He gets on top of the tanks. Do we have enough banelings to kill these Marines? The base goes down. Hot pickup as well. ByuN, he gets away. Both players are hurting. Both players just lost mineral lines. As these liberators have been going ham. Ay. We don't want to push up this ramp. Oh god. GG gets called. RagnaroK, he just ran out of steam. No more bases, no more economy. And ByuN will take the series 2-1, advancing on to face off against Nightmare. GG, well played. ByuN just snowballing out of control. I say that, he had really good fights. He had really good engagements. Every single time they fought, ByuN, he was so, like, attentive to his tanks and so on point when it came to shutting or just target firing banelings after banelings, avoiding any kind of major connections, making sure he was never really caught out of position either. And yeah, RagnaroK was just trading a little bit too poorly, and of course he just wasn't able to get a 4th base up and running either. ByuN just being so oppressive there, just because of how well he was fighting. GG, well played. Oh, ByuN does advance on. Oh, sorry, yeah, he does advance on into that winners match. Meanwhile, massive shout out to M Canning in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Oh my god, were you streaming? It's been a while. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Thank you so much. Oh. Thank you so much for the support. For those tuning in, we're just going over a replay cast of GSL. Of course, these matches did occur a couple of weeks ago, so you may have already seen them. If not, we got you covered. If not, we have you covered. We just finished up our first 2 series, and we have 3 more. 3 more ahead of us. Yes, welcome. Quack, puppy, quack. And we can switch our scenes over just to have a look. And there it is. Nightmare, he just 2-0'd Hero, advancing onto the winners match. ByuN just 2-1 RagnaroK. So we have our winners match ahead of us. We have the elimination match as well, which is going to be wild. Hero versus RagnaroK. That can still go either way. It's crazy to see Hero down there, and I hope that isn't where his story ends. Then after that, we have the decider match as well. So we have 3 more best of 3s remaining in tonight's broadcast. And now that we finished up our first 2 matches, we're going to be going on a short break. I do have to quickly get something done. Refill my water as well, so take this moment to hydrate all your hydras, stretch your roaches, massage your marines, drain your disruptors. When we return, we will have that winners match. We'll have ByuN versus Nightmare. See you soon.